It's a match build-up show. We just got the moves going. James, see, James knows. James knows because he stops. Then when it gets to that second, right, he stops. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you are all well. It's the match build-up show for Rapid Vienna versus West Ham United. West Ham need just 1 point to qualify through to the last 16 of the competition. But we've got 2 games to do it. Let's hope we can get it done tonight. For the build-up show, firstly, James, how are you, sir?
All good, mate. All good.
Lovely. And jump at Tom as well. Tom, how are you?
I'm all right. I've seen the lineup and I'm a bit annoyed, but other than that, I'm good.
Well, me and James discussed it a little bit before, and I think I'm irritated. I don't know why, but let's have a look at it then. So, Ariola in goal, back four of Vladimir Sufal, Issa Diop, Craig Dawson, and oh Christ, didn't see that Arthur Masuaku at left back. Oh God. Noble and Souček, the 2 in the middle. I'm guessing Lanzini as the 10. You've got Vlasic one side, Jarmolenko the other, and Jared Bowen up front. Oh my God. James, we'll come to you first. Let's start with the back 5. Ariola, Sufal, Diop, Dawson, Masuaku. Any surprises there?
Not really. Masuaku in, maybe, but he's got to come in because Cresswell can't play every game. Other than that, it picks itself, doesn't it, really? Cafal comes in, Ariola, Diop and Dawson, obviously. But, yeah, I think it just sort of picks itself for me, mate.
Yeah. Does King Arthur, where are you at left back, Tom?
Do you know what? I think me and James are actually going to agree on most of this lineup. Genuinely, I do, actually. One of which is Krall, because he must have done something to David Moyes' daughter like Wilfried Zaha does, because I don't know how he's not starting tonight. But Cresswell is the only left back at the club, which is one of James's favourite lines. And it's true. I was nervous about him when he played the other week, when he got sort of 50, 60 minutes when we were away to... help me out here, who we were away to before.
Genk.
Yeah, Genk, that was it, yeah. And he just didn't look good there. And I know he was in a back 5 at times, but even recently his performances, to me, just doesn't seem bothered. And obviously tonight we're going to have to hope that he does a job. And this is probably going to show us, I reckon, tonight as to why we don't trust this man at left back normally. But as James said there, Cresswell needs a rest. Unfortunately, he can't play every game. The fact that he is genuinely the only left back at the club who can actually defend, he needs a rest now and again, and obviously we've got a big game coming up at this weekend, and I'm glad he's rested certain players, but overall it's a decent back 4.
Yeah. James, would you have considered, just because, I know you're not the biggest fan of Arthur Masuaku either, would you have been in favour, or do you think it's a little bit harsh on perhaps whacking Fredericks or Johnson on that left-hand side, or do you think it's right to put Masuaku out there, even though he can't defend?
But we've got no one else, mate. And the thing is, the only good thing about Arthur Masuaku is he's left-footed. Do you know what I mean? That's the only decent thing about it. But, yeah, you could do, but it's square pegs, round holes again, isn't it? Or that's the same old cliche. But, no, put him in there, and let's see how he does tonight. Do you know what I mean? If he don't perform tonight, personally for me, I think his time should be done at West Ham. He should be moved on. But that's my personal opinion. But we'll see how he does tonight. Right? Rapid Vienna in an empty stadium. If he can't defend against them, then he's no good for us.
Yeah. Let's head into the chat and see who we have tonight. Peter, hope you are well. Gaz, I hope you are well. Roy as well. Yeah, Arthur is playing left back. Mixed emotions there, I can't lie. Scotty V, hope you are well. Here we go. Good to see a couple of Hammers fans. And, of course, the Leeds fan. Everybody's saying hello to each other, the disabled team as well. I hope you are well. Noble in for sentimental value. We'll get onto that now. Let's have a little look. Tom was shaking his head. So in the middle we've got Noble and Souček, and I said on preview I did on the members video this morning is I can't understand why we've taken Declan Rice out there for him to sit on the bench. I can't get my head around it, James.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to come to me. Sorry.
No. Go on, Tom.
Well, no, I don't understand it. We saw in that first half against Genk that Noble cannot do the running in midfield that he used to be able to do. And Declan Rice, unfortunately, even though he was on a yellow card, was very limited then in that first half because he was having to do the running for almost two people because of Noble. I love the guy. I know I take the mickey sometimes and I say that, I wind Rebecca up like no end about Noble, but he's been a great servant to the club. But Alex Kraul needs the game time. He needs to start, and he would have been perfect tonight to put in there with Thomas Souček. They're both Czech Republic speaking. This would be a great chance. Give Declan Rice a rest before a big game at the weekend. It made all the sense in the world, but he must have really done something to David Moyes, Wilfred Zaha-esque with David Moyes' daughter, to not put him in the start. I don't get it. I can understand bringing him on for the last half an hour of the game if you want to shore it up and you want to get an extra man in midfield or something. That is where his limit should be, especially in European competitions. But I feel very sorry for Alex Kraul because on more than one occasion, for me, he should have started and Moyes has neglected to start him. So unfortunately, it's a shame, but we'll have to see what happens. But I think it's going to go very similar to the Ghent game. I think we will just get outrun at times in midfield, and having someone younger like Kraul to do that defensive work would have been perfect tonight.
James, David Moyes makes some funny decisions, but the only way I can justify this in any way is that maybe Moyes has got up his sleeve that in times in the last season or two, we teams know what we're going to do and they overpack and overrun the midfield. The only thing I can see is if we go to City at the weekend and we pack that midfield and we put Kraul in alongside Rice and Souček. I don't know. I would have started Kraul and Noble tonight purely because Souček and Rice are going to have one big game on the weekend, and I don't know.
For me personally, it's an insult to Alex Kraul. If I'm honest, absolute insult. We've signed 4 players, and only one player is playing regularly in the Premier League. That to me is not good enough. I'm sorry, it's just not good enough. And Alex Kraul, this is a perfect game for him. Come in away from home, no fans, no pressure. Get him against Souček. And what makes me laugh, and what is a bigger insult, is Souček playing. This is a man who needs a rest, but he's playing instead of Kraul. Like, it just, for me, Alex Kraul is a player who's come in, and I don't be surprised if his loan is torn up in January. I can see that coming because he can't, when you're getting in front of when Mark Noble's getting in front of you, then you've got to be asking questions, don't you? Let's be honest here. And for me, Mark's good coming on for the last 15 minutes, shoring it up and doing a job, but he's not a starter in any level. Right? And he knows that. So why is he starting tonight? It makes no sense to me. It really does.
Unless David Moyes is gonna give them a half each, which you don't usually see in football. He's gonna take Noble off at half time and bring Kraul on. I don't know. Even you mentioned it there. Even Mark Noble knows he's not a starter, and to be honest, he must be thinking, Christ, how the hell am I getting in this lineup tonight? I don't know. But let's move on to the attack then. Right then, let's try out this new feature. What? Right. It covers up that.
It covers up the attackers.
Yeah. There we go. Brilliant. So our front four is Lanzini in the number 10 role. You've got Vlasic on one side, Yarmolenko on the other, and Jared Bowen up front. Who wants to go first?
All your favourite players are starting tonight, Jake. You've got Yarmolenko and Dawson in the same team. It's brilliant. Brilliant. Yeah, I'll take that one. I think again, myself and James, I know when we spoke about it on American Hammers, and I know I was saying it before the season, I thought this was a perfect competition away from the Premier League for Yarmolenko to shine in. And I thought, yes, he's not going to be playing in the Premier League week in, week out, but he's played in Europe before. He's played in many different European competitions, in the Champions League for Dortmund, obviously over in the Ukraine for those guys, in Champions League and Europa League. This is a chance for him to play on the European stage, and he does it everywhere but for West Ham. And again, this evening, we'll give him a chance and we'll say, can you do it? I personally think that this should be a competition tailor-made for someone like him to be able to cause problems. But every time we've seen him again in the last year, he's just not done it. And I understand the rest and rotate, and obviously Rapid Vienna weren't the greatest of opposition that we faced, in the groups, and the fact that it is an empty stadium, as James mentioned tonight, it should take the pressure off of people like Yarmolenko. He won't have the crowd on his back to do it. And I expect to see a 7, 8 out of 10 performance from him, or I don't really want to see him in a West Ham shirt again, is what I would say. The line was very thin before this game for me, and I'm just at a point now where I don't enjoy watching him in a West Ham shirt. I don't know what he offers. People know what he wants to do. They know he wants to shift it back onto his left foot. He can't really create much with his right foot. He doesn't have the pace that he used to have to cause defensive problems. So I just don't know where he fits realistically in this team, and especially the style that David Moyes wants to play with, attacking players that can rotate in the different positions and have that bit of pace sometimes to get beyond the further man or pick out that killer pass. And none of that is Andrei Yarmolenko. And again, hopefully he proves me wrong this evening and he does something. But what has he shown any of us in the last 18 months that would, apart from a goal against Chelsea to effectively keep us up that year, what has he shown us to be starting for us, especially in Europe? I would rather have gone with one of the younger lads this evening, like that Sonny Perkins that we've taken with us, or someone like that, or just give someone that would actually want to prove a point for the shirt, do something for it tonight. And I just don't see that from Yarmolenko. So I'm a little bit disappointed to see him start, but hopefully he proves us wrong tonight.
Yeah, I agree. It's like, Tom, you've just gone from something that I said about Yarmolenko in a previous show and just read it out.
There you go. Great minds, Jake. Great minds.
I know, exactly. It's what I've been saying for 2 seasons. Honestly, Yarmolenko is rubbish. But Jared Bowen, ever present. He doesn't ever seem to get a rest. Lanzini, I'm happy to see in that 10-roll. Vlasic. Nikola Vlasic, James, to you.
This is the perfect game for him, though, is it not, James? Like you said, though, with the empty stadium, this is his chance to prove.
He's got to do something. He's got to do something tonight, Vlasic. He's going to play probably the whole 90 minutes. I'll be surprised if he gets subbed at any stage. So he's got to do something. He has to start doing something to justify coming in and trying to push Benrahma, Bowen, Fornals out the team. And tonight's a good game for him, as Tom just said. I 100% agree. No fans, empty stadium. It should be no pressure. But with the Yarmolenko thing, he is what he is. We all know that he's no good, and we need a striker at the club, and it is what it is with him, mate. The lineup's very disappointing, if I'm being honest. You've got Rice sitting on the bench. Why is Rice there? The place is full of COVID. And what I fear more, and I said it to Jake, I fear that one of our players could catch COVID over there. One of our big guns could catch COVID, and then that's us derailed in the Premier League. But yeah, we've just got to get it done tonight. Get over there, get it done. But it's going to be difficult because Noble is slow and he can't get about the pitch. And if they are on it tonight, Rapid, because they are, we've also got to understand they are fighting for something, Rapid. They're fighting for the Europa conference. So they are going to try and their hardest to get, but they can't get out of the group. They can finish third. So we've got to make sure we're on it tonight to get the result.
Yeah, I agree. Let's take some of your comments. 3 players that don't deserve the West Ham shirt: Noble, Masuaku, and Yarmolenko. Absolute joke. What's Moyes playing at? Congratulations on 2000. Thank you very much, Lawrence. I don't know. It's a funny one, but let's have a cheeky look at this bench and see what we're dealing with if needed. So the bench we are looking at is Randolph as the backup goalie. Only one goalie. There we go. Fabianski was left at home. Creswell, Zuma, Johnson, Fredericks, Alese, Chester's, Crowell, Royce, Benrahma, Fornals, and Perkins. So we've got 1, 2, 3 young players, which was reported last night, have travelled and are in the first team squad. Hopefully in a position that lineup doesn't really show it, but hopefully, Tom, if we can be through by a couple of goals, 60th, 70th, 80th minute, chuck a couple of them young lads on.
Yeah, like I said, though, if that was the case and he'd taken with, I'd rather have seen, like I said, Sonny Perkins starting. I don't know much about the kid. Obviously, I know he's a youth team player and he's an attacker, but I'd rather have seen somebody him start instead of Yarmolenko. But I'm looking at that bench. Obviously, he's got the backup weapons, if you will, in Fornals and Benrahma. Obviously changed the game for Genk the other night when some of the more regular first team starters came on. But if you look at that, you've got 5 subs to use. I would be pushing for some of those, but you don't bring Rice on to change a game, do you? That's not like a game-changing sub. There's only a couple of game-changing players on there. So it'll be interesting to see what he does with the team, depending on if we go a goal down or if, but if that's the case, even though if we need to get back into the game, I don't know why Declan Rice is on the bench. I think he should have stayed at home, realistically, because he's not bringing you back into a game. If you can shore up a game, you bring Crowell or somebody else on. You don't risk Declan Rice just for 30 minutes, even if we're like rescuing a point, because I think we only need a point, don't we, tonight to go through.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I don't want to have a go at David Moyes because I trust him beyond belief, but some of his decision making sometimes is a little bit questionable. But he's gained our trust. He's not led us wrong so far, and he'll probably go out and put a masterful performance in tonight, and we'll just be sat there looking like idiots. But yeah, it's a few strange decisions from me. But hopefully, if we do go sort of 2-3 goals up, then we can, maybe bring off Souček for Crowell. Maybe the likes of Bowen can get a rest, and we can just put Perkins on or something like that. Just as long as we can come away from here having got at least a point, don't catch COVID, and nobody gets injured, then it will be a successful trip. But it seems a lot to ask, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, looking at that bench, for me, what I would have changed with it, I would have left Creswell and Zuma at home. As Tom said, like Rice, they're not going to have an impact on the game that much. Chuck some young players on there. Yeah, I'd leave Rice at home. Ben Rama, Fornals, I probably would have took. So yeah, Creswell, Zuma, Rice. No need to take these key players out.
The way you got to look at it is though, like with obviously Ogbonna going down now. If he's left Zuma on the bench, if for God forbid either Diop or Dawson got injured tonight, he's not going to be throwing Zuma in there because that's the only other centre half that's left then at the club that can start against City or whatever it is who we've got coming up. So he would have to go for Elise because he's not going to risk his other centre back. So why some of those players have travelled and others in the first team haven't, I don't know. It's just it's a bit interesting.
Yeah, I agree. Right, the game on the whole then. James, you don't look the happiest.
No, mate, because I'll just look at it like this. I don't like to say it, but I think we're taking the pee out with that team, if I'm honest. Like, when you look at that team, we've got to respect Vienna for what they are. And we're going there with a half-hearted team expecting just to turn up and roll this team. We should roll this team, but I agree with what Afa says. If Dawson goes down tonight, then we're in massive trouble. I can't believe I'm saying that. Because that means we've only got one centre half pairing, and that's Diop. And say if Diop goes down, then we've got no cover at the back. For me, it's a good pairing. We just got to get the job done, right? I don't understand the Noble one. I really don't. To me, there's something more to it with Crowell. There has to be. There is no, and I have been asking this on my platform and on different platforms. If Alex Crowell does not start on Thursday night, what does that tell you? And that tells me that Moyes does not rate this player at all.
We had the same situation. I look back at it, and it seems like the same situation as last year with Ben Rama, James. We were sat there thinking, what has Ben Rama got to do to get on this pitch and start a game? And it seems like the same with Alex Crowell. I don't understand it.
What it is, I'll tell you what it was. Yesterday, I had Gio on my thing, right? And Gio said a brilliant point, and I thought about it. I thought you're bang on. Alex Crowell was running out of games that he technically can play, because he ain't going to play in the Prem when you got Rice and Souček there. It just ain't going to happen. So, Rapid Vienna, right? You got Zagreb and you've got Tottenham, where the 3 possible games where he could play. So technically, he's running out of games, and he's only played literally at 1 game and 4 minutes of Genk, and that is it in 3 months. And he's been here 3 months, and it just, to me, it just seems like there's a little bit of an agenda there. And no one can tell me Mark Noble deserves to start over Alex Crowell. I'm sorry, but I can't be hearing that one tonight because that's embarrassing. Noble is a last 15-minute man. We all know it. So why is he starting? And what Tom said earlier is bang on, 100% bang on. Souček and Crowell, they both play in the Czech Republic. They both play in the same formation in the Czech Republic. It just makes no sense to me, mate. It really don't.
And I wouldn't mind if this was a player that's walks off the street and doesn't have Champions League or Europa League experience. And he was starting for them in a very crucial game for them the other week where they needed to win. Obviously, results elsewhere went against him in the qualifiers, but it's not like he's just some random defensive midfielder. He is perfect for this competition, and the fact that he's just not, he's been neglected for it. I'd like to say. But I don't know what it is because for everywhere else he's played, he covers a lot of ground. He's very similar to what Souček is. Maybe not as good going forward, but if that's the case, then he should be the perfect person to slip in for Declan Rice, because Noble is just not a like-for-like replacement for Rice.
Because the way I look at this, Tom, right, and it's the best way of summing it up for me, is what was the point loaning Connor Coventry to Peterborough
exactly,
and then bringing in Crowell if we're not going to use Crowell? It just to me, we might also have kept Connor Coventry at the club and gone loaned a striker. Or a left or a wide man or something, or left back. Even. Do you know what I mean?
On the Alex Crowell deal, is it an option obligation? What is it? I thought it was an obligation to buy, wasn't it?
It's an option to buy at the end of the season. It ain't an obligation. It's an option to buy at the end of the season. But I personally think his loan gets torn up in January. I really do. I don't know why. I've got a funny feeling, because it just makes no sense, Jake. This is a perfect game for him. You can't, if you was to pick a game for Alex Crowell to come in, play 90 minutes, no pressure, this is the game. And he's
actually in the comments, that Peter makes a good point. I saw that the other day. Connor Coventry's hardly being used at blooming Peterborough anyway. So
and me and you discussed this, Tom. Me and you discussed this on American Hammers. I'll never forget what we said about Connor going out. I said, if you're going to a team where you're going to get battered every week, that's no good for your team morale, is it? Your personal ability. You need to be going to a team where they're going to be fighting for at least a playoff spot, at least.
So just a rule now. Don't no one put in the comments I prefer Noble over Crowell, because James will literally erupt. So let's not do that. Peter, hope you're well. There are Pete's everywhere. It's usually Gary's, but it's Pete's tonight. Why not? Lawrence has agreed, James. Something is up with Crowell. This is worse than Ben Rama last year. Moyes has bottled it, says Hammerhead. But let's go one key player, Tom, for West Ham
tonight. I don't even know. Probably Masuaku, realistically, for me. But I think in terms of are they going to look to potentially attack down that side? Are they going to try and utilize the fact that teams do scouting reports now? They'll see, what players and what positions, and look at all the data and all that sort of stuff, and they probably see Masuaku as potentially a weak point tonight down that right hand side. For me, if he is not on form, I don't know really what he's on form for Arthur Masuaku defensively, but if he does have a bad game, then they could look to expose that. So it's very key for him tonight. You could say maybe the same for Noble in midfield, because at the end of the day, I know what kind of a performance Jared Bowen's going to put in. Maybe, do you know what? There's maybe even a couple of them, maybe even Vlasic, it could be a key tonight. There's a lot of players maybe that are in this team tonight that don't necessarily deserve to be in this team that are going to have to put in performances. But I think they will lick their lips or lick their chops at the fact that they potentially have got Arthur Masuaku to go down, because I think a lot of teams obviously know that it's very tough to get past Soufal, especially what he was doing last year in the Prem. Obviously, Ben Johnson took his place this year, but I think they see that as a weak spot tonight. So he's key for me if he wants to be a regular starter in this competition and actually get some minutes in front of Cresswell, that he needs to prove tonight that he can actually defend. Because obviously there will become a point in the game where he's going to have to step up, and hopefully for our sake he actually does it. But yeah, I think there's a few of them tonight that could be seen as key players, especially with some of the first team regulars out.
Yeah. Before we come to James, a couple of people in the chat putting theirs in. Bowen, the key man. Bowen, interested to see how Vlasic gets on. There's going to be plenty to discuss. Whatever happens, I think Areola will be key tonight, as they will go for it. Could be. James, you're one key man.
For me, it's going to have to be Vlasic. This is the game. This is the one where I need to see something out of him. There's no excuses now. He's got an empty stadium. He's got no fans. He's got no pressure. He's the most expensive player, I think, West Ham's got on the pitch. So he's got to do something tonight. He has to do something to justify coming to West Ham and deserving to be in the team at the end of the day. And there's no excuses now. Obviously, Diop. I want to see Diop and Zuma together, so I hope Diop has a good game. I want Diop to play well tonight, because I don't want to see Dawson in there Saturday. I want to see Diop and Zuma, right? French connection. And then basically, we will know whether Moyes has got this right or wrong tonight. If he has got this wrong, he needs to be criticised. and there's no two ways about it. He has to be criticised if he gets this wrong tonight. Let's hope he's got it right.
The only reason I wasn't saying Bowen is a key person, I mean, it's just because it's an easy one to choose as a key person in that team when there are a lot of question marks on certain players in that team. That's why I would have said anybody but Bowen. But he's obviously a key player tonight. But you kind of know what kind of a performance you're going to get from Jarrod Bowen. It's the others that the question marks are on.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go on a hold the front four. Lanzini, if he has another good game tonight, he's got to be putting question marks in whether if there is a an injury to Rice or Souček or a suspension. Let's not forget in the Premier League, Declan Rice has one yellow card off of a 1 game suspension as well after his card against Wolves.
Still won't see crowd.
That's another thing that could get in Crowell's way. Lanzini and of course Benrahma goes off to the Africa Cup of Nations. Looks like Lingard will be done on the 1st of January, so that's another thing for Vlasic to worry about. So this is big games for even Yarmolenko if he wants to get a bit more game time this season. Yarmolenko, Vlasic, Lanzini, and a couple of goals for Bowen would boost his confidence, I think, tonight. Back up to what it was.
Honestly, I hope Lanzini shines tonight. I was really impressed with him when he came on with Wolves. He really looked to take it to him, and that was saying something for how bad we played at the weekend. But I thought he was the bright spark for us when he came on. And I'm not saying by any stretch of imagination he's back to his best, but at the minute, every time he seems to come off the bench, he's changing the game for us one way or another, and that's really good to see. So if he can do it for 90 minutes tonight, it's only going to be good for us that we'll have those options when Benrahma does go off to the African Cup of Nations.
Yeah, let's take a lot of these last couple of comments. Hopefully Lanzini and Vlasic work well together. Hope Bowen hasn't been worn out by Danny. Let's hope not. We only need a draw to top the group. Yes or no? Who would take a draw now?
Not for me.
No,
Tom?
Not for me in the slightest, mate. Rapid Vienna are nothing special. And they are literally a lower championship team at best. And we need to go there and be professional. And winning breeds confidence at the end of the day. And that's what we need to do. Like, you go up there and we get a draw. Yeah, we get a draw. Fair enough. But we need to go there to win. Yeah,
listen, these boys, they showed it against Man United that it can be done. And if you can't do it against Rapid Vienna in an empty stadium, then I won't swear because it's your channel, Jake, but bloody hell, like, you need a hard look at yourselves, And this is very similar, other than Crowell, to what sort of, and Fredericks maybe in a couple, but it was very similar to that cup team that went out there with some of those players, It's not that I wouldn't take a point. Obviously, a point is good for us, but we need to be going into these games with that mentality that it doesn't matter who we're playing, no matter what team we put out, we're going to put in 110%, and we need those 3 points. And it will look good for us going forward, as James said. Breeze confidence, very busy period coming up. Let's kick it off on the right foot.
Definitely. Souček is vital tonight. It's this guy needing to play like last season. Draw suits me through to the last 16. Yes, please. Luke, I hope you're well. Luke says we are going to smash them. I like it, Luke. I like it. Pete says, I don't want to draw, but I take it. Peach, I hope you are well, my man. Hope everything is good with you. Right then, quick fire prediction because we've got to go. Prediction, James, go.
I'm going to say 2-0 to us. I think we'll score first half, and second half we bring some players on, nick another goal, shut up shop, and get it done. 2-0.
Lovely. Tom?
Firstly, Peach, stop drinking out of sippy cups and pouring your cider into them in hospital. I saw what you were doing the other day, you idiot. Don't be stupid. And then I would probably say I'm going to go 3-1. I think second half, I think he'll try. Maybe half time it's 1-1, and he maybe assesses that he has to bring a couple of the, Benrahma 4 hours off, and at that point we will put the game away. But I think it's going to be a bit balls to the wall in the first half. I think they're really going to come at us and get an early goal. But yeah, I think I'm hoping. Last time I came on, I was very correct in the prediction that we said what we did for the Liverpool game. We were very good at that. So I'm hoping that we'll have a similar effect tonight, and I'm going to say 3-1.
Yeah. Comment of the night from Luke. Right off to pick up the daughter and some beer. Not sure which is most important. Peter hopes you 3-1 to the Mighty Hammers. I think personally we'll go 1-0 down. I think they'll score first and shock us like Genk did, and I think we will in the end come back, and I think we'll beat them 2-1. 3-1 to the Mighty Hammers, says Pete. 2-0, says Lawrence. Right, we're going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to West Ham Unofficial. Peach said hello to Trevor. Peach, lay off, please, lay off the drinking just for a week.
Oh, listen, it was good to see him in good spirits in hospital and everything. And I wish him well. I was in there and I said to him the other day, but the man was outside. He's had problems. He's had pneumonia, whatever it is, and he was outside with a can of cider and he poured it into a polystyrene cup so he didn't get caught by the people at the hospital. It's not very naughty. Don't do silly things, Peach. Get yourself better.
Get yourself better, indeed. 2-1 Vlasic and Bowen, says Scott. So from me, Tom and James. Come on, you irons. Come on, James. We're having a cheeky come on, you irons tonight, or not with that rubbish line.
Come on.
Oh, look, see, we've got Tom doing it as well. Everything. See, Peach is loving his points. He's just not taking any notice of you, Tom. Just carrying on. Keep calm and carry on. And let's hope. I can't watch the game tonight. I'll watch it a little bit later on because we are occupied tonight. And
why are you occupied, Jake?
Parents' evening tonight.
Oh dear.
How's it gonna go, Jake?
Well, I'll tell you 7:30, James. Peach is going for his normal 5-0 to West Ham. A very, very good Peach. At least you haven't lost that. At least you haven't lost that 5-0 prediction. So I'll watch the game a little bit later on. There'll be no instant match reaction, but you will get your review.
Or he won't watch it later on when he's banned from all technology for a few weeks. That's what happened to me.
Well, hopefully not. If you see me, whether it's tonight or tomorrow morning on there, it went well. So thank you very much. Come on, you irons, and thank you very much, Tom and James, and we will catch you later. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.